prayer is a weapon. Therapy is a strategy. Yes, you can pray, and I encourage you to, but don't feel like that's the only thing. I'm not even sure how to pray. You telling me pray about it, I don't really know how. What does that look like? It's okay to go to therapy and get the strategies that are going to help you to grow spiritually. You are not less of a man for getting support. Even if it's not therapy, there are other forms of support. You just gotta go find them sometime.
Welcome back to the podcast. I started this podcast as a way to help Black men in all aspects of our lives. Studies show on average we lose 2.8 years of our life when we're under heavy stress. And I think we can gain those 2.8 years back if we express ourselves healthily. Stick with me as I interview therapists, doctors, advocates, activists, and friends about how we can be better as Black men and as a Black community. If you're not subscribed to us on YouTube and following us on Instagram and TikTok, you'll definitely want to do that. Without further ado, let's get into the episode. We are back with another episode. We are here with Dr. LaShonda. Did I get that right?
Yes. You got it right.
Okay, good. Last thing I want to do is butcher your name. Okay,
yeah,
we'll be starting off on the wrong foot. I'm excited to talk about this episode because I feel like this is a topic that we don't talk about enough. I've had one episode where I've talked about grief.
Really?
Yeah, it was really good. So you really ain't got, you know what I'm saying? You ain't got really that much competition.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So all you got to do is be yourself, do what you
got it.
And we're straight. Like, this will be one of the episodes when brothers ask me about grief, I'm going to say, listen, we got 2 episodes on grief. It's going to be I think episode 90 is the one. And then it's going to be whatever episode number this one is. Okay, so before we get started, we talk about grief and all these other good stuff, you know. Can you tell the people who you are, what it is that you do?
Yes, my name is LaShonda Lane Gamble. I am a licensed therapist. I have a PhD in counseling and psychological studies. I own a group practice called Dreams and Visions, and I'm also the founder of HEAL. HEAL is a nonprofit ministry that focuses on helping people heal their mind, body, and spirit.
You say that a lot, don't you?
Yes.
Because you said, listen, I know exactly
got it
who
down
I am
packed
and
a
what
little
I'm doing.
bit.
I love it. No, I love it. That was great. So I want to ask you, because you said in the form that you filled out for the podcast, right, that you said you did your dissertation on Black men.
Yes.
Right.
Focused in on Black men.
So explain to me what that was, and like what was it that you were actually like studying and doing? Like, what was your dissertation about?
Yeah, so my dissertation, I named it Healing After Homicide.
Okay.
So it focused on helping Black Christian men heal after experiencing a loved one pass away by homicide. So they were killed, which is one of the most traumatic ways that you can lose someone, which makes the grief more intense.
Right.
So I intentionally wanted to focus on my Black kings. That was very intentional for me, because what I started realizing is at that point, I already started HEAL, the nonprofit, and a lot of women were coming in to heal their mind, body, and spirit. And I was like, but I didn't really intentionally want it to just be women. Our kings need to heal too. Because if we can get the Black man to heal, he in turn will heal his family, and then he'll go heal the community. And he can put in the intentionality in making sure that these healing initiatives are happening. So I really was making sure that that we got to our foundation that we need in the Black community, and we need the Black men.
I share the same sentiment, which is why we had the platform. I really feel like a lot of it starts with us. Like, if we are to be these leaders of our community and our families, we have to be the example of what that healthy, relationship or a healthy person or healthy leadership looks like. And
Definitely.
So that's why I think it's important for us to focus on Black men. So with that being said, how do we heal after dealing with grief, right? And it doesn't necessarily have to be like, the homicide grief that you talked about, but like just grief in general. And first of all, before we even get there, what is grief? Because some Black men, we hear the word, but we don't know. Yeah.
Yes, and I think there is a misconception when it comes to grief. Grief is loss in general. When you lose something, you can go through a grieving process.
Okay.
Now, of course, we know when someone passes away, that is definitely a form of grief, but you can have grief from losing other things, losing relationships, divorce, The person didn't die, but there's still a loss there. Losing even material possessions, when people go through foreclosures and lose their homes, that can be a process of grief. So grief is the process of losing something or someone.
First of all, are there different types of grief?
Yes.
And then, okay, so what are the different types of grief?
Yes, lots of different forms of grief. And the reason that I focused in on traumatic grief is because typically that leads to what's called prolonged grief.
Okay.
So this is a more intense form of grief. If someone passes away, it's pretty much expected that the person will experience grief. But when it's traumatic, it's even longer. Mm-hmm. It's more intense. You're like, what in the world is going on? I can't seem to get my bearing back. I can't get back to normal life. Now, yes, a piece of that is normal with grief, but with prolonged grief, just like it said, it's happening for a much longer period.
Right.
And so, yes, it's different forms of grief, but that prolonged grief is what most people see when it's a traumatic experience.
So then, first of all, how does that prolonged grief manifest in us? Like, does it affect us in any way, shape, or form? And like, if so, how?
Yes, it impacts you because you're not getting back to your normal day-to-day life. So your daily activities are harder to do. Mm-hmm. You may be isolating yourself for longer periods than someone else going through a grief of maybe someone that was terminally ill and they had a chance to kind of prepare for that person to pass away versus something that happened and like it wasn't expected.
Right.
So, yes, you see the isolation, you see the disconnecting from friends and family. You see where I'm just like, I'm not coming out today. I'm not getting out of the bed. I don't feel like it. I don't feel like I can do the things that I would normally do in life.
So how do we navigate that then? Like, so, because I feel like grief is one of those things that I always hear people say grief is not something you can really heal from.
So,
especially something like traumatic grief. So like, do we ever really get to a point where we're healed with traumatic grief? So
I got to pull out my spiritual side on this, right?
Please do. Let's go.
So, the Bible says, and it was in Isaiah, I was looking at it right before I came here. 58:5, maybe. Okay. Might be wrong, but y'all can go Google it. By his stripes, we're healed. Meaning the stripes of Jesus. Jesus was crucified, and because he died, we're healed. I really studied that verse, and I looked at it in different translations. Every translation that I looked, and it's a lot of them, I ain't look at all of them. But every translation that I looked at, it was healed in past tense, meaning it's already done, and there was literally a period at the end, right? Healed is done. So from a spiritual standpoint, I do believe that though it may not always look like it's fully manifested, because Jesus died for us, we're healed. And so I try to use that even as a focus point. That's going to help push you through too. You can pull on these spiritual coping mechanisms to say like, okay, I believe in my word. I'm going to stand on what the word of God says. And so by his stripes, we're healed. I believe I'm healed. I'm walking through it.
Yeah.
Because healing is a journey. Don't get me wrong now. Sometimes it looks like that thing is just ongoing. But there has to be a certain level of reaching your goals in there. So it shouldn't be, okay, I had a traumatic experience when I was 13, right? And I started going to therapy when I was 18. And now I'm 68 and I'm still trying to heal from that. There should be a certain level of, I've learned to, how to process this. I've learned how to respond to triggers. Doesn't mean the triggers are going to go away, but I've learned how to respond to the triggers, and I've learned how to be in healthy relationships outside of what happened to me. I'm not still allowing that to impact me on the daily basis. So there should, yes, healing is a journey, it's ongoing, but there should be a certain level of progress that happens so that you're not healing from the same thing your entire life.
I like that. I want to challenge you here.
Okay.
Because I feel like there's some black men that are hearing what you're saying, And what they're turning that into is you're telling me to just pray about this thing.
Oh, absolutely not.
Okay. So can you please clarify? Yes, please.
Thank you, because that is not what I want y'all to hear. Just pray. Because I have someone that I really look up to. Her name is Dr. Anita Phillips. And I have studied and watched her in learning my profession. And she says, prayer is a weapon. Therapy is a strategy.
Okay.
So prayer is a weapon. Yes, we can use prayer, right? But going to therapy gives you the strategy that you need to know how to use the prayer. I'm sorry, going to therapy gives you the strategy you need to know how to use prayer. So let me give you an example here that I use all the time. Military. And most men can kind of at least understand when I start talking about weapons, right? So military, if you go into military tomorrow and they give you an AK-47 and a grenade, I don't know how to use this.
Right.
Right? I got my weapon.
I mean, kinda. I play Call of Duty. You know,
you might.
But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Different with real people.
A little something. But go ahead.
But you might can aim a little bit, you know. But you aren't trained. You don't really know how. I don't know. I wouldn't use the grenade if it was me because, I don't know if I pull it wrong, I'm gonna blow myself up. I don't know the time.
Yeah, grenade. I'm not touching.
So you have those weapons, but without training, I don't really know how to properly use them, right? So that's what Dr. Anita is saying with that quote, and that's kind of where my standpoint comes from is, yes, you can pray, and I encourage you to, but don't feel like that's the only thing. And don't feel like if I'm not even sure how to pray. You telling me pray about it, I don't really know how. What does that look like? It's okay to go to therapy and get the strategies that are going to help you to grow spiritually.
I like that. I might use that in the future. Yeah. Therapy is a strategy. Prayer is the weapon. Ooh, that's good. That's really good.
Yeah. Credit Dr. Anita.
Yeah, no, credit Dr. Okay, cool. Word up. Shout out Dr. Anita. So what do you feel like are some misconceptions that we as Black men have around grief? That can alter or stop us from navigating healing, the grief that we deal with?
So in my research, the main things that I found that help people through their healing process, it was 3 things: meaning making, figuring out ways to cope, and then support.
Okay. What is meaning making?
Meaning making is making meaning about the loss that you had.
Okay.
So trying to understand, wrap our brains around why did this happen? Because that's a lot of times we get into, oh man, I'm mad at God. Don't nobody talk to me. I don't have nothing to say to nobody. This never should have happened. Why did God let this happen? It becomes a whole spiritual struggle.
Right.
And so once you learn how to make some meaning of it, and will it ever completely make sense? It might not. That's something that I think people go into trying to get answers. And they're like, if I can't get the answers, then I'm just going to be kind of stuck. Meaning making, you might not get all the exact answers that you're looking for, right? But you get to a space where there's peace with it. I don't really understand why the police killed my brother, right? But at this point, I can accept that it happened. And I am going to find ways to honor him. That's another big piece in meaning making. I'm going to find ways to allow the person that passed away's legacy to continue. So that can help you make meaning out of it too. So now this person has passed away, and I'm going to create an organization that tries to prevent what happened to them from happening to other people. So now you've made meaning of it. Now I have a reason to keep living. I'm going to focus in on this. It's connected to the loss that I had. And now I'm really passionate about it, and I can keep moving. But to go back to answer your question, the piece of support, I think, is what most men are missing.
Yeah.
We trying to do it by ourselves.
Black men, we missed to get it out the mud. Get it out the mud by myself. For sure. Because we've been taught that if we have to ask for help, that means we ain't a man. Yeah, if I gotta go to therapy, I ain't no man. If I gotta go talk to somebody about something, I am not a man if I need any type of help or assistance in getting to the bag or getting whatever my responsibilities done are. So I feel like that really hinders us when it comes time for us to actually heal, because as you said, you do need the support, but a lot of us feel like getting the support makes us less of a man.
And the research shows that it's one of the biggest indicators.
Okay.
Having that support there, oh man, that is what's going to determine if you have kind of what I'm going to refer to as like normal grief.
Okay.
Or prolonged grief. Is this going to be a struggle that is kind of expected that most people go through when they lose someone? Or is this going to be a struggle that's going to go on for years where I just can't get my bearing? Yeah, I just can't get past it and I'm stuck. So when you get that support, first of all, Black men, hear me. You are not less of a man for getting support. It's actually one of the most intelligent things that you can do.
Talk to him.
Therapy, like you have someone that intentionally went to school to help you heal. Learn all the techniques. We done read all the books, did all the research. Why wouldn't you come to us and say, you know what, can I get a little help? We have the tools to show you. We are here. That is our purpose. And that's what most of us find a good therapist. That's what we love to do.
Back.
This is what I feel like I was created to do. That's why I'm so passionate about it. Mm-hmm. So you get with the right therapist. And y'all, guess what? I know this may sound crazy coming from the therapist.
No, say it.
But
I love it.
Even if it's not therapy, there are other forms of support.
No, for sure. They need to hear that too.
Yeah. So yes, I'm all for therapy. But even if it's, I'm going to join this group of Black men, right? I'm recognizing this organization does things together and they're intentionally holding space for Black men. Do that. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. What you're doing, watching these podcasts, y'all. Mm-hmm. Now, I would encourage you to you can always reach out to me for support, and I'm sure Kizzle is going to say the same thing. But I would encourage you to find someone that's close to you. Find some support systems that are near you that can really just help give you the tools that you need. And if that's nothing but sitting beside you while you're crying.
All right, I'm interrupting this podcast episode to let you guys know to leave a review on the podcast. Please, 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 if you are listening to this episode and you're finding value in this episode, you're enjoying the conversation, or you've enjoyed a previous episode or conversation, and it's safe to operate your phone right now, please leave us a review. Your review is a free and easy way to support us, and it helps us reach more people like you. We're on a mission to build a stronger, more connected Black community, starting with Black men. And you can help us on that mission by taking a minute out of your day to leave a review. Your review helps us generate more listeners, which in turn generates more revenue, allowing us to expand the platform even further. So please take a few seconds out of your day. I know you're busy. I understand. I know you're doing a lot, but it will help us greatly if you would just take a few seconds out of your day to leave a review right now. Did you leave a review yet? All right, let's get back to the episode.
You know, you said something earlier and you kind of like skipped past it real quick. And I just, I feel like I wouldn't be doing my job if I just let you skip past.
Okay.
So you talked about your brother passing.
Well, my brother didn't pass.
Oh, your brother. Oh, okay, that wasn't your brother.
No, I was just making up a scenario.
I was like, Dr. LaShonda, no, we got to go back to that. Okay,
no, so not me. But yeah, just throwing out a scenario there. Yeah, if someone's brother, and if you knew how many times I read that story while researching, brothers, cousins, dads, killed, violence. It's crazy. Statistics show that Black men are 20 times more likely than white men to be killed. The numbers are so alarming. Like, I posted on social media not too long ago because I was trying to update my statistics in the book. And I looked it up and the rates were just climbing. So from the last time that I looked the research up, the numbers were increasing. And I said, wait a second. So there's a statistic that says that though Black people make up 13% of the United States, we are 54% of the homicides that happen in the United States. Why, y'all? Those type of numbers is what breaks my heart. Though knowing those numbers is what helped me also to push through my dissertation, because I need to get out here and do something with this information.
Right.
I need other people to know, like, no, this is a whole disparity that we're trying to skip over. No, my Black men need help.
Why do you think it's so high?
It's so many different factors, and I talk about it, like I go into detail in that dissertation. But some of the factors, Black neighborhoods just not being safe.
Okay.
Right? So we got the neighborhoods with already increased violence.
Right.
And unfortunately, sometimes we're hurting each other.
Right.
It was a large number. I can't remember the exact statistic, but most people that are killed by homicide know the person that killed them. Breaks my heart. Absolutely breaks my heart.
Oh, man.
But it's happening, right? And so I know that there are Black men watching this and Black men just out there in general that have experienced this. And they're sitting at home and they're trying to figure out, how do I heal? And they don't know, like, what do I do? Where do I go? Who can help me? They may not even know where to find the support. And that's why I'm so passionate about what I do. Let me get myself out there enough that I can have the reach and I can tell these Black men, you don't have to do this by yourself.
Right.
Here's the support that you need. I've done enough research that I can even walk you through the steps.
Right.
Literally, that's what my dissertation did. I created a program that helps Black men heal. Let's put this program out there. Like, we have the resources. Now my passion is figuring out how to connect those, how to get to the people that need them, so that we can really use all this time and energy I spent pulling together this information.
Right.
So that's why I can say I'm here to help. I will help you figure it out.
Is there another type of grief? Because I've heard about complicated grief.
Yes,
What is complicated grief?
Complicated grief, disenfranchised grief is a bunch of different types of grief. That complicated grief is what leads to the prolonged grief.
Okay. So what is that exactly?
So when it's complicated, it's because you are, and my dissertation goes into this too, is usually because there is a spiritual struggle. And that's where it gets complicated, because you can go left or right? I can stay angry at God, hold on to this and get stuck, or I can make meaning out of this and figure out how to move forward. So you get to a stage where you're like, okay, is this gonna get complicated or not? And that's another reason I push so hard, because the earlier that we can catch what's going on, like, you don't have to suffer as long.
Right.
So let's try to catch it early if we can. If we can get you at that spiritual struggle where you're like wrestling with God, I can help you through that. You don't have to stay mad for 10 years. Let's start figuring out how to make meaning out of it. And even if you don't believe in God, right, there are ways that I can still help you to make meaning of it. Like I said, creating legacy for the person. And so, yeah, I'm just like, I want to help my people.
Nah, I feel you. I love it. So I like talking about mother wounds and father wounds, because I feel like that's a thing that a lot of us go through. So in this sense, could mother wounds or father wounds be considered complicated grief?
It can. And I've never thought about that. That's a really good question. But immediately my head makes sense of it. Like, my brain is like, yes.
So explain that.
Explain how. So if you have, let's say you have a mother or father that abandons you, that creates the mother or father wound. Still a type of, like I said, the person doesn't have to actually die for it to be grief. So when someone abandons you, it's still grief.
Right.
And you're trying to figure out, this man is around the corner. The person that's my father or mother, they are around the corner, literally living like they could come see me.
Yeah.
And they're choosing not to.
Right.
That's a wound from a parent, and it's grief.
Yeah.
It's both.
Oh.
Yeah, now you're going to make me go sit down and think about this thing.
Nah,
that can get deep.
Yeah, let's talk about
Oh.
it. How do we navigate that? Because I know there's somebody that's listening to this that has a father that's absent or a mother that's absent. So how do we navigate it? And does it look different for either parent? You know, like.
So I wouldn't say that it would be different for either parent. I've worked with some kids in foster care. And what I found is that regardless of what the parent did for them to end up in foster care, there was this innate longing to be with their parent. So no matter how harsh the trauma was, the abuse, neglect, all types of things going on, that child still wanted their mother or father. I still want to be with my parent. When can I go back home? I heard that so many times. So there is an innate desire to be with your biological parent. And so when you don't have that, I would say you would walk through it really similar to the stages of grief.
Right. And what do those stages look like?
So it's going to look like, one, get into therapy, get some support. Mm-hmm. And I can't tell you the stages of grief right off the top of my head.
No, I know.
But you're going to have to, one, admit what's going on. Let's talk about it. Let's acknowledge the fact that there's an issue, because that's a big piece of it right there. I ain't mad. I ain't need him anyway. I don't care. My mama left me when I was 12, but I'm good. Everybody's trying to act like nothing happened. How can you heal from something if you saying it's not a problem?
Right.
So that's a big challenge right there. And I get people that come to therapy. They want to talk about maybe relationships and marriages not working. Right now, I'm having some trouble in my relationship. And I'm like, okay, great. But let's do this assessment and see what's really going on. I start asking about childhood stuff. How were you raised? How are your relationships with your mother and father? Oh, it wasn't that good, but I don't need to talk about that.
Yeah. Come on, help me with my relationship.
No.
I'm here for my breakup. What are you talking about? Why are we talking about my mom right now?
Why are we going back?
Yeah.
You have to go back to heal. And so I warn people in the beginning when they come to therapy with me, like, it'll probably be a session or two where you don't like me. And that's okay, because I'm going to challenge you and I am going to hold you accountable for going back and addressing the things that you tried to pretend didn't happen. They happened, and we have to talk about them. Sometimes simply talking about them can be the release that you need.
Right.
So you over there acting like, oh, no, I ain't need mama or daddy, but you bringing that up, go ahead, cry.
Yeah.
Release that, because that may be it. Now, if it's more, I can, as a therapist, help walk you through that. But sometimes it really is just acknowledging what happened.
Yeah. Can you explain why that release is necessary for the Black man that doesn't believe that talking about his problems will actually help him to heal or resolve his problems? Because I feel like for a lot of us as Black men, we think in black and white. So we think either I can come to a solution with this thing or I can't. And a lot of Black men can't comprehend why expressing themselves is actually a solution to what they're going through.
Man, it's hard to verbally explain what it does, but when it happens, you'll know. Right? So what I would tell you is try it.
Okay.
Try it. You can't hurt anything by talking about it, but you can continue to stay in that spot being stuck if you don't. So why not try it, right?
Right.
Those were literally, and I know, I'm sorry if there are Black men that were taught you can't cry. Y'all, let's try to throw that away. You can cry. It is healthy to cry. And those tears are actually a release. Like, people don't realize how much you can let go of, how much your body, because this starts affecting your body, right?
Right.
You ain't healed, you holding on to that abandonment, The traumatic layers, oh my goodness, that can be a whole nother podcast. Where we have the layers of things that have already happened in the Black community that are impacting us. It was a study done in 2019 that I read, blew my mind. The negative impact of slavery will not completely go away until 2100. This stuff, we try to act like, oh, that's the past. If slavery is still impacting us, you can't act like your father not being a part of your life or your mother not being a part of your life is not impacting you. It doesn't even make sense.
My Lord. Oh my God. Dr. LaShonda, we're going to need to take a second real quick.
Okay. This is just coming together in my head too. So it just hit me too. You can't act like slavery, right? Slavery is still impacting us. It's still causing microaggressions. It's still causing us to be held back in certain ways. And you're going to try to act like this person that was so important in raising you, the person that created you, they disappeared, they walked out on you or whatever the case may be, maybe even passed away, grief, right? They're gone. You can't act like that doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
Logically, it doesn't make sense.
And I know Black men love logic. We love us some logic. Now, emotions,
right. Nobody want to talk about that.
I didn't say that, Dr. LaShonda. But logic, we can understand logic. That we get. Like, okay, yeah, you may have a point, but do I want to deal with it? No. Right? So how do we get the Black men that now are at the place where they're able to admit, okay, Dr. LaShonda, you might have me. You might be right. How do we get them from understanding that you're right to now taking the action of the healing? What are some things that you try doing? Because I feel like, have you had clients that like you may like have had to like go back and forth with certain things? Yeah, so what are some things that work with them?
I know when I first started my practice, I had a client and it was very interesting. My Black males, when they come into therapy, I also do play therapy.
Okay.
And at the time I was in person. So I had like coloring books and things for the kids off on the table. My Black male client came in and he said, "Can I color?" I said, "Sure." He colored the entire session. He did not look at me.
Really?
He colored the entire time. And I started taking note of that. And I was like, interesting. Had another Black man come in. He would like fiddle like with his hands the entire time that he was. I was like, oh, they need something to do with their hands. And so I found that when I gave them something to do with their hands, even if it was, fill out this form as we're talking. Draw a picture for me. Like I know that might sound like, oh, that's childish. Why she got me coloring and drawing pictures? But literally it helped them to open up because they were directing some of that attention elsewhere. They didn't have to make as much eye contact. Yeah. Which can be intimidating too.
Yeah. You know what? Ooh, this is good. This is so good. This is so good, man. You know what? From a Black man's perspective, what I think is also happening, we disconnect from our inner child at a very early age because we're like adultified, if that's a word.
Yeah, you got to be the man of the house.
And so the coloring allows us to intentionally reconnect. So when you're talking to him, you may not even really be talking like it's really the inner child that's now coming out, that's able to now have this conversation. Because I know for me too, I sometimes would have stuff in my hands when I'm in like uncomfortable situations. Like when I know I need to do an uncomfortable call or I need to do anything uncomfortable, I like to have something in my hands.
Like a little fidget.
Yeah, I like to fidget with something. And what do babies do?
They color, they got a little toy.
You know what I'm saying? They're always, wow. So what you would say is like, try play therapy first, or try some form of it, or something with your hand.
Yeah, you don't have to necessarily find someone that does play therapy, but let's say even a lot of us are moving to virtual. Like my practice right now is mostly virtual appointments, and so Black man, you knowing this information now, you can be at home in the comfort of your home, have something that you can fiddle with. Have like, okay, this might sound a little crazy, but let me get a coloring book. Right? And I can do that as I'm talking in my virtual session. Ask, can you bring those things in with you if you're in person for a therapy session?
Right.
As a therapist, we're going to do our best to accommodate you.
Yeah.
So don't feel bad, or think that something is wrong with asking for some type of accommodation. Hey, can I have something, paper, so I can draw, fiddle, whatever.
Yeah. I'm really liking this. I like this a lot because I've had a conversation with another therapist too. She's had her own journal, and inside of her journal, she literally has coloring, it's like a coloring book that's like a section of the journal. And she was like, yeah, this really works well with the Black men that I work with. And she works with men that are in prison. You get what I'm saying?
So I want to talk to her.
Yeah, so she does, I can give you information, but she does a lot of reintegration work, a lot of folks that are coming out of prison or maybe just starting prison, all that kind of stuff. So, and she says coloring works well for them. So it's good to hear that is not just a one therapist and situation type of thing. This is actually something that has worked without it being that specific situation. So that's really dope. Wow.
So now I got to create a coloring book.
Nah, yeah, go ahead. Yeah, look now. Look.
When you figure out what works, we're not reinventing the wheel here. What works? Let's use it. And that's why it's so important for us to collaborate.
And have these conversations, right? Because she might think to herself, man, this might be a little weird, right? Or you might even thought, man, this might be a little weird.
This seems like maybe it's just by chance.
Right.
That, the people I'm seeing in my practice, that this works for them. But to hear that other therapists are doing similar things.
Yeah. And she's not even the first therapist that I heard say that about the coloring. I've heard multiple therapists talk about coloring as a thing. So I know for a fact that that's the thing that does work for not all Black men, but a good majority of us would be down with it. Maybe initially we'll look at you what the hell are you talking about? I'm paying you some money now for this session. I ain't coming in here to color no damn book. But after we submit to the process, we'll be all right, this is kind of working.
Trust the process.
Yes. So for the brothers that come into your office and, they're that see you virtually, they're yo, listen, I got a failed relationship. And you guys talk about all these other different things. And now you're at the point of dissecting and analyzing and figuring out how to process that. What are some things that you help them with navigating that grief? Because there's a lot of grief that comes with that we don't really talk about as Black men.
Yeah, I see that so often.
Yeah.
Where men are you know what? They come in and it's almost kind of I'm done. I don't even want to try this again. It hurt too much. And I have some clients who also struggle in releasing relationships that they know are toxic. It's I just don't want to be alone. And they come in and they're open enough to tell me this. And I'm thank you for even just being honest. So, because now that helps me to better understand you. And really I start working backwards on I told you, I'm going to make you go back to childhood. We're going to talk through has this happened before? Because it could have been kind of the cherry on top. I felt abandoned here. I felt abandoned here. And now my girlfriend just abandoned me. Right. So the intensity of what just happened in a relationship, it could have been other layers already building before you got there. And now it feels even heavier.
Right.
So that could be a piece of the issue. It could be that when we start pulling back the layers of the onion, you don't have the confidence, the self-confidence, the self-esteem. And so then I'll start working on that. That'll be a treatment goal. Let's help rebuild his confidence. To know that whatever happened in this relationship, yes, take accountability if you need to, but know that you deserve love. You deserve a healthy relationship. And so just one person maybe abusing that or not creating a safe environment for you, that doesn't mean that you should let that stop you from ever getting it.
Right.
Why would you give that person that much power? I'm going to give this girl that much power in my life that I never see a healthy marriage with love and kids. And no, take your power back, bro.
That's good. There's a brother that needs to hear that for real. 'Cause I'm telling you, after I got cheated on, I said, I am Dr. LaShonda. If I came in here and you virtually, I'd have been like, Dr. LaShonda, I'm done. This is the last one. Okay. They will never see me again. I'm good. I remember that feeling vividly. I was like, yo, bro, I don't want to ever be in a relationship ever again. I'm comfortable. I'm gonna be single for the rest of my life. These women are out here. They are devious. That's what I was thinking.
Some of them are. So you got to use your discernment. That's where that spiritual piece comes in. I'm going to help you with that too.
Yeah.
Because we got to date with intentionality. Like, wait a second, I saw the red flag.
Yeah.
Now, that's another thing I go into with relationship issues or recent breakups. Okay, now let's look back. Where were the yellow and red flags?
Right.
Let's not let that happen again.
Right.
So I have a question for you if that's okay.
No, of course.
So in that breakup, did it feel like grief for you?
You know what's so interesting, man? It did, but it didn't. Because one, it did feel like grief because I was like, damn, like, how the hell did this happen? So I was struggling with what you talk like the meaning, you talk about the meaning maker, right?
Uh-huh.
Meaning making. I was struggling with the meaning making for a little bit. I really was. And it was turning into that like complicated grief for me because I was like, yo, why did I get cheated on? I'm a good guy. I don't cheat. A lot of guys I know be out here cheating. And they deserve to get, not me, Dr. LaShonda. Him. God, why? That's literally in my head. I'm like, God.
Spiritual struggle.
God, why did you do this to me of all people? I'm a good and faithful servant.
And what if he was protecting you?
And that's what I'm saying, Dr. LaShonda. I eventually got there because I started thinking about it a little bit more. And I was like, dog, you don't even really you really ain't want to be in this relationship like that, bro. You're just mad because you feel like the way it ended is a shot to your ego. You don't like the fact that it ended off of you getting cheated on. You would have rather that it didn't end that way, but it end. So let's just be clear. You did want it to end, one. You just didn't like the way it ended. So once I came to that realization, I was like, okay, so this is the result that I wanted. I just didn't like the process in getting there. So now because I don't like the process in getting there, let's understand why I don't like the process. Well, and why that actually had to happen in the first place. Because one, I would have never broke up with her. And the reason why I wasn't going to break up with her is because I was too hell-bent on being in a relationship and not being single. So in order for God to pull me out of that, he said, the one thing I know you will break up with this woman for is if she cheats on you. I know for a fact you're gonna leave if she cheats.
He had to give you a little fire.
He had to, because he realized I was not moving. And I thank God. And you know what's so crazy? I say this all the time. People think I'm crazy. I thank God I got cheated on. I really do.
I can understand that.
Because if I didn't get cheated on, I still probably would have been in that relationship to this day. I wasn't getting supported the way I wanted to. I didn't even like myself when I was in that relationship. I didn't really like the person I was in the relationship with. You get what I'm saying? But I was in the relationship because I struggled with letting go of things that did not serve me. And I did not want to be single. So I really do thank God for it, because it's like, yo, bro, if I had never got to that point, if that had never happened, I would have been in a relationship with someone that I did not mess with.
Ended up being a whole gift.
It was more than a gift. It was a blessing. I tell people all the time. People think I'm crazy. It was being cheated on was one of the biggest blessings of my life. Literally, because it helped me to let go of something that was not serving me anymore. It helped me to get to the level that I need to get to, where I was able to now invest in my platform, do all these different things that I was not going to do if I stayed in that relationship.
And who you're connected to matters. That could have kept you from your destiny.
Bro, I'm telling you, man. I had times where I was doing stuff. And don't get me wrong, I never want to talk on this platform, make it seem like I was a perfect guy. I was not perfect. You know, I had my own flaws and all that kind of stuff. But one of the big things, especially when you're an entrepreneur, you have a business, any type of business, even if you have a career, right? I'm not even gonna make this about a business. One of the big things that we need as human beings, especially for us as men, we need the person at home to support what we're doing.
1000%.
We need them to support what we're doing. We need them not to just say, okay, cool, I know you're doing this thing. Great, good job, buddy. We need them to actively support. We need them to actively ask us. We need them to actively show that they care about our vision. Because if they don't care, it causes us to then have to deal with even more insecurity as we're going out in the world. The world is already telling us, you can't do this.
You're not good enough. We're going to intentionally try to hold you back. All that stuff is out there in the world. You got to come home to a safe place.
Exactly. So when you don't have someone that you're at home with that's investing in the vision with you, you have no place that is comfortable enough for you to even plan and strategize your vision and start to implement it. So for me, like, it was hard at times when I was doing stuff because I was in a relationship with someone that I felt like all that mattered was what she had going on. We don't have space for your little business. That ain't making no money.
No.
You get what I'm saying? That ain't making no real money. We don't got space for your little business. I know you got that little business going on. We ain't got space for that. We got to talk about what I'm doing, right? This is what I'm doing. This is important. And so every time I would like create some type of space to talk about stuff, it would be like, okay, cool. Yeah, but yeah, I'm doing this. Or yeah, but I got this going on. Like, all you do is go to work. You don't even do nothing at work like that. Why you can't talk to me about, like, I literally would have these conversations with her where it'd be like, I'm like, yo, I'm getting off of work. And yes, I don't got a lot of stuff that I'm doing at work. Granted, I was at a dead end job, so I wasn't doing that much anyway. But at the same time, work is work. Work is hard regardless. I don't like being around these people. It's draining just to even see them.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So for you to invalidate that and then make the conversation all about what you got going on and not even ask me about what I have going on, it just was a crazy toxic environment that I didn't even realize was unhealthy for me. You get what I'm saying? So I'm saying all that to say, like, bro, that's why it was a blessing, because I did not need to be in that situation. And now I'm in a situation where I'm with Naima. Naima is here right now as we're recording the podcast.
I love it.
She's like, don't talk about me. She's like, don't. But no, Naima's here as we're recording the podcast.
This even goes back to what I was saying earlier. Support.
Support, man.
That's one of the biggest things. So research is showing it, but now you're telling your real lived experience.
I'm telling you, like,
of how support makes the difference.
Support makes all the difference. I tell Naima all the time, it's no coincidence that when I started the platform and we got together, that it took off. No coincidence at all. I'm not naive enough to believe that it was just perfect timing and just no. I'm not that guy that thinks that just because I did something and it's working, that it's because of me. No, all glory to God first and foremost. But I know God intentionally planned for it to happen this way, because he was like, listen, you ain't in the right position right now for me to bless you with what you need. And if I bless you right now, you're going to F around and fumble it.
Oh.
And so I can't do that. So you're going to get cheated on. And I know you're going to hate that for a little bit. And that's going to sting, but it's setting you up for where you need to be. And so, man, I just thank God, man. I thank God. I really do, man. And I give God all the glory and all the praise for everything that's happening with the platform and in our lives and all that kind of stuff. Because it's like, bro, it's not me. Promise you. I promise you. And so with that being said, I want to ask you, how do you integrate spirituality into your work? Because I feel like it's such a fine line, like not even a fine line, but it can be complicated sometimes to do that.
It can.
Yeah. So how do you do that with your clients?
So dreams and visions, I intentionally don't call dreams and visions Christian counseling because it's not.
Okay.
Right? So dreams and visions, and I did that. Yeah, on my spiritual journey, that was something that God told me to do. He's like, there are going to be people that need help. If you call it Christian counseling, they're not coming. And so I meet people where they are. That's a part of my assessment. Spirituality, tell me, are you a spiritual person? Tell me where you are. What do you believe in? Is there a religion that you connect to? Understanding that piece helps me to know where to meet them. Now, it's interesting because I have had people come in that tell me, like, I'm a little spiritual, but, I don't really want to incorporate that into treatment. Cool, totally fine. We don't have to, right? I don't have to talk about spirituality in our sessions. But a few weeks, months go by, And they asking me questions about the Bible. Like, it's interesting how it works. I've had clients come in that told me they were doing some things that I consider, based on what the Bible tells us, darkness.
Mm-hmm.
And by the end of it, to see the transformation, because guess what? 'Cause she didn't tell me, this was a female. She didn't tell me what she was doing because she thought I would
Judge her.
not only judge her, but also dismiss her as a client.
Mm.
She thought I was going to, like, okay, no more sessions. I can't see you. I did not. I loved her. And that's how I'm incorporating spirituality. Right? Because I'm loving her. And that the Bible tells us that
I know.
greatest commandment.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Say it. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Our greatest commandment is to love. And so it doesn't always look like Bible study and me telling you scriptures or saying, you know, study this story in the Bible. Sometimes it looks like me just genuinely loving the person. And that is an incorporation of spirituality for me. Right. So I meet the client where they are and I help them. I may be watering a seed. I may be planting the seed. I may be watering the seed, but I just meet them where they are and do what they are comfortable with. I
love that. You know, one of the things we didn't talk about when it comes to grief, I want to go back to grief a little bit. We didn't talk about the waves of grief that can happen. Like when somebody's triggered or like a year passes, like how do you help clients navigate that? Because I feel like that's a whole other thing too. Like you can make meaning out of it, but there's still going to be waves and like things that happen.
That's normal.
You. Yeah.
I normalize that for my clients.
Okay.
Yes,
okay.
I am totally normalizing. Clients will come in, especially so we just got through the holidays.
Right.
And also this is a time of seasonal depression. So clients will come in and like, I don't know. I don't want to get out my bed. I don't want to do Christmas. Mm-hmm. No, let's talk about that. This is your first year without your loved one. Right. Mm-hmm. And so this set of holidays hits different.
Yeah.
And so those waves will most definitely happen, and holidays can be a trigger for it.
Yeah.
It's okay. That's what I tell them. And like, I'm trying not to cry, but you know what? If you do, it's okay. And if you need to make an additional session this week and come in here and cry with me, let's do it. Release those feelings. I make it safe for them to feel those waves. Feel them, ride them. Don't stay there.
Yeah.
We gotta keep going. So, yeah, my pastor, she says all the time, mourn and move. So it's okay to mourn, right? But we gotta intentionally keep putting one foot in front of the other too. Don't stay there. That's what the enemy wants. He loves to see us stuck.
Right.
He loves to see us like walking away from the next step in our destiny. So taking the time to realize like, okay, it's normal to mourn. Biblical times, they literally spent, like, I'm not doing anything. I'm mourning. I'm not going anywhere. Now we over here I'm a mourn for 1 week and go back to work. That's not normal, but it's the society that we live in. And so as a therapist, I can't change the way the world operates, but what I can do is hold a safe place for you to feel like, no, this is normal and it's okay to hurt. It's okay to cry. I'm here to hold your hand through it.
What are some good holiday traditions someone can implement if they're like normally against the holidays because they have family trauma, father wound, mother wound, something like that? What are some good traditions that you would say?
We going back to our main word here, support.
Okay.
Tell somebody that you're struggling, right? Because if you're letting someone know, then they can be intentional about helping you through that.
Right.
If I know my friend is at home and this is her first year, someone passed away, I'm pulling up.
Word.
What you need? I'm over here, even if that means me just coming and sitting with you, that's what I'll do, right? But if nobody knows that's how you feeling, how can anybody help?
Yeah.
If you don't verbalize to somebody around you that's what you're feeling, nobody can help you. So find the support that you need. If that means, right, my family, totally toxic, right? I don't want to go to the family get together. Guess what? I'm gonna find a friend family. Hey, can I come to your house for, Christmas? I'm gonna be over here. You don't have to put yourself in situations that are toxic.
Right. Right.
You deserve to be loved. You deserve to be around healthy people. You just gotta go find them sometimes.
There's a family you're born with, and then there's a family you choose. What's the is it called chosen family?
Yeah, I hear that quite often. I wouldn't say that I labeled it, but yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
some people that you choose.
Yeah. Okay. And so what it sounds like you're saying is like you got to choose the folks around you that you want to support you. Yeah.
So since you wanted me to talk about spirituality, I got to bring this up.
Please do. Please do. Please do. We going.
Because there is a story in the Bible.
Okay,
right?
let's get it. I love this.
Jesus is in there. He is talking. He is teaching people to be disciples, right? And so he's teaching them about the Bible and the parts that were created at that time. His mom and his brothers came to the door, and they were like, "Hey, we're here to see Jesus." And Jesus was like, so whoever it was came and told him like, "Hey, your mom and your brother's here." Jesus was like, "And my family are those that are trying to build kingdom." When I first read that story, I said, my mouth dropped. Like,
He said, "Oh wow, he's crazy."
Jesus, that was your mama. Your mama at the door. Like, I put it in real life scenario. If my mama at the door and I try to ignore her, what? That's not cool. I was like, that was a bit much, won't it, Jesus? But then I started thinking about it, and I was like, but wait. As I started growing spiritually, I understood they were trying to distract him from what he was doing. He knew, I'm only here for a little bit of time. I know what my heavenly Father told me to do. I got a timeline here. I got to get it done. They are distracting me right now. Now, you'll see later in the Bible, like his mom was with him and some of the other things that happened. She was there when he got crucified. But if he knew in that moment that they were a distraction and he cut them off, what we got to do? It doesn't, my family are those that are building kingdom. And so that is how I evaluate my circle.
I like that.
And I don't, blood, chosen, it doesn't matter. When I look at my circle, if you aren't building kingdom and we aren't both pouring into each other, why are we here?
I'm liking this episode. Yeah, this is good.
What we here for? Because your circle can become either a cage or the support that you need to push you forward. Who's around you? Because that might be the reason that you're not walking in your calling. You're not walking into your destiny. And even going back to your story, who was in your circle when that stuff won't taking off?
My God. Oh, you are good. Man, you're good. This is good. Yo.
That can be a whole nother episode. I feel like I talked about that for 6 years. That's all God had me talking about. Tell them that your circle matters.
Yo, nah, that is so real. Wow. You know what? Man, there's so many ways in which I want to take this. And I'm trying to figure out how honest I want to be. Because I have friends.
All the way honest.
I need to get this truth out. I talked about my ex and said that, she didn't support and all that kind of stuff. But if I'm being 100% honest, I have friends that didn't support as well.
And they in that circle too.
I have friends that didn't support. Love them to death. Those still my friends. Those still my mans. But I have friends that wasn't really supporting. Not the way friends that really rock with you should support something that you're doing. Right? And I say that to say this. When I really locked in and started getting intentional about, this is what I want. God, this is what I want to do. I found other people that were trying to do the same thing, that supported me in the ways that I needed to be supported, right? Not only a partner, right, Naima, but I found friends that were like, yo, bro, let's lock in. We rocking. If you up at 1 a.m. talking about this thing and this idea, we up, we good, let's do it. And I needed that. And I tell black men that all the time. Is like, you don't need 10, 15, 20. You don't need 15 people.
You don't.
Sometimes you only need just one brother. If you got 2, you great. If you got 3, Y'all could take over the world.
Amazing.
You feel me? So I really, like, as much as I talk about my ex and I say, yo, she cheated and like, she didn't really support, I have friends that wasn't supporting. And once I found friends that was really about like, yo, we really want to build businesses. We want to get better. We want to talk about finances. We want to talk about spirituality. We want to talk about these topics. We want to be vulnerable. It helped me to propel because iron sharpens iron. You get what I'm saying? So once we're talking about these things, we're growing. We're like, okay, yo, I learned about this thing with credit. I was like, oh, cool. I didn't know you could do that. I learned this thing with building a business. Like, okay, cool. I could use that in my business. Oh, I found this resource. Okay, cool. Now it's more of like a resource building community that we're gathering. We're bumping ideas off of each other. I'm sending them graphics. I'm like, yo, bro, like I got this new thumbnail idea. Like, what you think about this? They're like, oh, cool. I think this one is cool. You could change this. I never had people to do that with before.
Oh,
you get what I'm saying?
That's beautiful.
So it's helping me to iterate quicker and make better decisions because I had the support that I need on the back end. And that really was important in the starting days of like Express Yourself Black Man, because those starting days, I was putting in hours. I was putting in work. Mm-hmm. Like I'm putting in work now, but I was putting in work, man. And so I needed people that were like, yo, nah, bro, this makes sense. Like, yeah, keep going. Like, nah, I see it. Yeah, like you got it. Yeah, you good.
Yeah, they believed in your vision.
They believed.
And they could see it too. Like they probably saw it more than you.
Oh man, are you in my head? Dr. LaShonda. Nah, I'm telling you, I had a friend. I always talk about this too. I had a friend, his name is David. David would tell me, yo, you need to start a podcast. This was before I didn't even know what a podcast was. I'm like, David, what the hell are you talking about? I ain't starting no podcast. I'm like, but David, leave me the hell alone. Leave me alone, David. He was that annoying. I used to think of him as annoying. This is the annoying guy that's going to tell me I need to do something with my life, right?
Oh.
I'm like, nah, bro, I'm good. I got a new job. I'm good, making some good money. I don't need to be putting money into podcasts. I'm good. I don't got time for that. But he just kept telling me. So like what you said is true. So it started with David, then it went into Dimitri, who like would see me posting stuff on my story and be like, yo, bro, now this is dope. And Mel is like my friend that does credit stuff. And like I do podcast episodes with them too. I'm probably gonna do a podcast episode with them in the future, like soon. But I'm saying all that to say, like sometimes it's not your girl or your partner or your family or whatever. Sometimes it's the friend, like you said, it's the friends you got around you that really don't believe in you, that's really has you feeling like you can't do something.
Who is in your circle?
Man.
And literally you gotta have some people that are at a stage or a level a little higher than you, right? People that you can look at and say like, oh, like I aspire to be like them. They inspire me because they gonna put you on to some things that you wouldn't have came up with yourself. Like your friend telling you, oh, you need to do a podcast. I don't even know what a podcast is. He exposed you to something.
Right, exactly. And he also, like you said, like he really did see something that I did not see. I was like, bro, I ain't doing no podcast, bro. I'm good. Like, I did not see myself doing this, bro. But if I'm being honest, I also did have, like, I don't know when I had this dream, but I did have a dream at, like, some point in time. This is long before we started the podcast. Maybe at least, like, 6 months to a year before we started the podcast. I had a dream that I was interviewing people. And at that point, I had never, like, I didn't sit down and interview. I didn't even been interviewed my damn self. So why am I interviewing other people, right? I had never done that before, but I had a dream that I was doing that. And I was like, okay, that's interesting. Didn't do anything with it. But then once we started the podcast and stuff, it reminded me like, yo, bro, you had like, God was trying to show you you're supposed to be doing this. I just didn't realize, man. It's crazy, man.
And look at the lives that you are changing. Look at the impact that you're making. Like, dreams matter.
No, they
We'll
do.
try to act like, oh, maybe it's something I ate or, like, no, this is random. No, God can intentionally give you dreams as a look into the future, as warnings. I'm glad you listened to that dream.
Nah, dreams do matter. That's why I try, like, even, like, regardless if I can't make sense of the dream, sometimes I try to, like, write it down.
Like, that's good.
Just because sometimes it'll help you to understand, man. And that also brings me to, like, what I do in the morning. I do Bible studies in the morning, right? Yeah, so I read the Bible in the morning. And I tell the brothers all the time, like, y'all should be reading the Bible. You know, like, you ain't got to do nothing crazy, but like, I do 15, 30 minutes in the morning, right? And I also do my journaling during that time. And I feel like that's really been helpful for me to like, kind of like, before the craziness of the day starts, I get my intentional time to like work on my spiritual, my mental, my emotional, and kind of check in with myself. But I feel like a lot of us as Black men are trying so hard to be productive all the time that we don't give ourselves time to like actually slow down and take stock of what's going on. So outside of those methods, right, we talk about Bible study and journaling. What do you feel like are some other ways that we could do that? Because I think it's important for us to have a multitude of ways in which we can do that so that we have options when it comes time for it.
Yeah, I love what you're doing. So Bible study, journaling. Another good one I've been encouraging clients to use is affirmations.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Okay.
So making sure you are telling yourself. So a lot of times there have been instances of trauma and things that have happened, even grief, right? That has rewired your brain. So literally your brain doesn't work the same anymore. The way that it's configured, it doesn't work the same. So to undo that, I tell people we're going to have to, rewire your brain. And affirmations are a good way to do that. The Bible tells us that that there's life and death are in the tongue. So it's in your words, right? When you do those affirmations, you're retraining your brain. So the negative thoughts that you may have had about yourself, negative thoughts that maybe even other people put into your mind about you, those affirmations, when you're saying, I am enough. I deserve to be in a healthy relationship. I choose peace and joy. You're telling your brain, and guess what? After a while, your brain starts believing
it. No, for sure. Man, I love this, man. I really, 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 really do. I really like this conversation. This is good. I really feel like they're going to get a lot out of this conversation, man. I really do.
That's all I want.
No,
and I love talking to you too. Like, I'm going to have to come back. We're going to have to run this back.
Oh, no, absolutely. For sure. Absolutely. Nah, they're going to love this. I have another question for you too, because I'm thinking about the Black man that like, as he's going through his healing journey, or like maybe he may be a little bit apprehensive about healing, and it's because he may be hearing stuff like, you heal and you don't know how long you're going to be healing for, or you're going to be in therapy for forever. And I feel like a lot of us as Black men, again, we're very solution oriented, and we want to know that we're making progress as we're going through stuff. And so if we don't know that we're making progress, we're not inclined to do it. So how do we do that with therapy?
So that is actually one of the beautiful parts with therapy, because you are going to have a treatment plan. Okay. We got goals, like we are organized here. We got goals based on what you told me you want to work on. Then I'm going to help sometimes, because like I said, somebody may come in talking about a failed relationship, and I'm like, but you recognize we got to talk about some deeper rooted stuff, right? So I'm going to help you with putting those goals together. There are dates and time. We set timelines here.
Right,
like we should be done with this in 6 months, or this, because of the traumatic layers here, this may take you a year. But there should be a timeline there so that you can know whether or not you're making progress. Your therapist should be checking in. Hey, we met this goal on the treatment plan. Now we can move on to the next one.
Right.
That's what that should look like. But now this is why it's also important to get to know your therapist, almost, kind of interview them a little bit when you get started, because you need to make sure that they're on the same page with you. I'm not trying to be here forever. Some clients might. Some clients don't ever want to leave.
Right.
But let them know, like, hey, I got some goals. I'm trying to do it in this amount of time. They'll let you know if that's realistic or not. I tell my clients my job is to work myself out of a job. I want to see you terminated as a client. Don't take termination, discharge, whatever other word you want to give it. I want to see you graduate and move on out of therapy, because that means I did what I was supposed to do.
Right.
If you got to stay here for 5 years, that don't sit well with my soul. I actually had a conversation with God about that, because I had some clients, I'm like, they've been here 3 years and they're still doing the same thing. Why? You help me to figure out how to do this in a way where people can reach their goals much faster. And because that was not making sense to me. Like I said, the scripture says by your stripes we're healed. And God, you can do this instantly if you wanted to. So what's going on? I actually started kind of blaming myself as a therapist because this person shouldn't be here for 3 years. That does not make sense to me. And so sometimes there are deeper rooted spiritual issues that people need to address. And that's where I found it Heal, the nonprofit that is deliverance and inner healing a ministry. Because sometimes it's deliverance that's needed. It's like, okay, you trying your best to break this cycle, and it's because you need to do a little deliverance here.
So how do they do that?
Okay, now we getting real deep.
Yeah, no. I need to know.
Deliverance is calling out the spirit that's there, unclean spirit, something that's not like God, calling that spirit out.
Okay.
That's all deliverance is. Now, people try to make it seem all like is not spooky. It does not have to be. I've had some experience with deliverance that can get, it might look a little out of the ordinary. I'll say that. Might look a little out of the ordinary, but a lot of times it's not. A lot of times it's literally me saying, you know what? I command the spirit of abandonment to leave now in the name of Jesus.
Amen.
All that fighting that you just did, going in cycles and circles, and now, since we called that spirit out, now you can go in therapy and do that work, and now the pieces coming together. Now it's making sense. Okay. I had to tell something that may have been passed down through my family for generations. I had to tell it, I don't want you in me. I leave. Everything that is not like God, and anything that's in me that's not like God, I want it gone in the name of Jesus. You have the right to do that. And so sometimes when you are going through this cycle and you're like, why can't I fix it? And you're really doing your due diligence, deliverance could possibly be what you need.
You may need some deliverance. Oh, I like that. What are some common things? I feel like it's so important for me anytime I have a therapist that sits down on this couch to ask about the common things that they see when they're working with Black men. What are some common things? Are you referring to what they do in sessions or the problems? Just like some of the problems that they come with. Yeah.
Yeah, usually relationship issues. So
like breakup, cheat.
Yep.
Okay. What are you seeing a lot of Black men getting cheated on? Or no?
Not necessarily cheated on, just unhealthy relationships in general.
Okay.
They are staying sometimes in relationships that they know aren't headed in the direction they want to go in, and they want me to help them. Like, I want to figure out help me fix this relationship. And I'm like, well, do you really want to be here? I see that quite often.
Really? So you're saying, as a therapist, I need to make sure we hear this, okay? You're saying, as a therapist, you're seeing a lot of Black men coming into sessions that aren't able to let go of relationships that aren't serving them. Why?
Indecisive sometimes.
How so?
Indecisive. I don't know. Sometimes I want to be with her. Sometimes I don't. I may see the red flags, but it's also some green flags here. And so, I'm kind of settling a little bit. Yeah. And so that can be the issue I don't want. And then so usually when we start digging deep, I'm like, well, what's going on here? Tell me what even marriage looks like to you. I'm digging deep. Let me understand what your end goal is here. List what you want in a wife. Because the person that you're with have these things. They're like, no. So what are we doing here? Yeah, I just don't want to be by myself. But it took me helping to break some of that down and them to, like you said, logic. Because I just told you, write out your own list of what you wanted in a wife. And then you told me that the person that you're with is not on this list, ain't her.
We real good at logic, I'm telling you. Now, don't mean we gonna act on it. But
not always,
real good at logic. That will get it to come out. Yeah.
This doesn't make sense.
Nah,
Why
that don't
am
make
I?
Yeah.
I know I want 4 kids. She said she doesn't want any And I'm not sure that she'll be a good mom.
I'm triggered. I am triggered. Oh my God.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm a different type of therapist. I'm gonna keep it 100.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to force my opinion, my thoughts on you.
Yeah.
I'm just going to challenge your way of thinking. I'm going to ask you questions that we're going to get down to the logic of it. Because in my head, I already know when you said it, oh, this doesn't even make sense.
Right.
Now I have to help you see that and not just tell you,
right,
this don't make sense. You don't like her for real. I can't just say that.
Right.
So I got to say, you know what? This is what I want you to do. I call it healing work instead of homework. This is what I want you to do for healing work. I want you to create this list of what you want in a wife. I want you to write out what you see your family looking like in 5-10 years. And then we take that and we compare it to what's going on now. With what you have going on now, do you see it transitioning into this?
Brothers, listen. For the brothers that's struggling with letting go, listen, Dr. LaShonda is telling you what you need to do. You ain't got to listen to us. You ain't got to listen to us, okay? Write the list out and you see for yourself. We ain't going to make no decisions for you, but we going to help you to come to a decision for sure.
Oh, because that's one thing I'm not doing. I'm not telling you to be with somebody or to leave them.
Yeah.
Never. I'm never telling you that.
Yeah.
You will never outright hear me say you need to leave.
Right.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to present the information in a way where you start thinking,
Yeah, like,
am I supposed to be here? Okay, well, you said it. Now let's talk about it. Are you supposed to be here?
Yeah, no, that's good. Why do you feel like we hang on to these relationships for so long? And does that go back to childhood?
It can.
Okay.
It can go back to childhood. A lot. We're human. We like connection. We like being with people. And so it can be really scary to think about being by yourself. Like, I already know what that looks like. I was by myself before I got with her. I know this is unhealthy, but this is better than being by myself. Sometimes it can feel like that. But and you better off by yourself.
Fact. At least you got
it's
peace.
Unhealthy. Right.
I'm going to tell you something right now, brother. At the very least, what you'll have by yourself is peace. Because I know some brothers in some hectic relationships. I'm like, bro, how?
How are you alive?
Nah, this is crazy, bro. Like, nah, bro, you got to get up out of here. But he's hell bent on I got to do this. So at the very least, bro, if you're worried about being alone, at the very least, you can hang your hat on knowing that at the very least, you will have peace of mind, bro. You will have peace of mind. And I think that in itself is worth it because we underestimate how important it is to have a place we can go back to, a home, wherever, that is just peaceful. That is just peaceful. And I didn't even realize that me growing up, like, yo, it's so crazy, man. It's so crazy, man. I live, like, Naeem and I live together right now, right? And this is probably the first time growing, like, in my life that I've had a peaceful home. Not to say my parents didn't do what they were supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? Not to say that that it wasn't peaceful at times in my home, but there was always something going on. And it's not their fault. We were lower income growing up, so I had to share a room with my brother. My brother's always leaving his mess all over the place. How the hell am I supposed to have peace with that?
Even.
Right. Now, I graduate high school. I go dorm, right? I'm dorming with somebody.
Roommate.
Hated this guy. I mean, I love him, but hated the way he lived. No peace. Went and dormed with somebody else, still no peace. Went and lived by myself, I was depressed. No peace. Then graduate, go to Massachusetts, living by myself, seasonal depression, no peace. You get what I'm saying? So this is the first time, like, really in my life where I'm in a crib and I'm like, yo, I'm at peace. Like, I want to be here. I love it here. I'm never leaving. Like, I'm never leaving.
You don't have to go anywhere.
Like, nah, for real, I'm telling you, bro. And so we underestimate how important it is to have peace at home. And a lot of us don't even know what that feels like because we grew up in so much chaos.
Yeah. And then look, and this a whole nother episode, the people that get the peace and run from it because it feels so different.
Yeah, uncomfortable. Yeah, you telling me nobody's screaming and yelling at me and
you not mad? No. I'm gonna try to start an argument.
Yeah, we need some
sabotage it.
And then you know what they call it? Excitement.
Yeah.
We need some excitement. I need to, spice things up a little bit. No, you just addicted to toxicity, bro. You just addicted to unhealthy environments. It's all good, bro. Look, I mean, we gotta unpack that.
Yeah, go heal.
Yeah, but you don't sit here and pretend like your relationship is boring. No, your relationship is healthy.
And you didn't know what that looked like. And now your body is like, what in the world?
Oh, nah. Yeah. This ain't it. So, man, like I'm telling you, man, like I didn't realize until I got in that crib. And I tell Naeem all the time, I tell her like, yo, listen, man, I love this house.
I love
this home. This home is it. I need it. I'll be out and I'll be like, yo, I'm trying to get back home, bro.
I don't even want to come.
This ain't it. Come on, man. I'm not in the gym right now. Come on. I got to pack this up, man. I'm ready to go.
Goodness.
Like, I'm not trying to be nowhere. Like, you know what's so crazy, too? Man, I'm going on a rant right now, but it's important for people to hear this. I used to really like going to hotels when I was younger because it was like, oh, wow, I'm going to go to this peaceful place. Nobody's here. It's great. I'm going to get away. Now when I go to hotels, I hate it. I hate hotels go now. Back home. I'm like, yo, this is whack. Like, get me out of here.
Oh, goodness.
Oh, my God. This is terrible.
This doesn't even compare to my house.
Come on, man. I feel bougie now. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, my God. I don't want to be here. Oh, man. Get me back home, man. Get me back home. So I really feel like, yo, it's important for us to have that peace.
It's beautiful. And I love that you're sharing that because it lets other Black men know that that's possible. Some people like, oh, you know what? I'll stick with the chaos and unhealthy relationship I have now because that isn't realistic to think that I can have a healthy, peaceful home.
Right.
So now they're hearing that it's actually possible.
It is possible. I'm telling you that. It's a fact. It is. But in order for that to happen, you got to make some, you know what I'm saying? You might have to let go of some dead weight. But I ain't going to tell you what to do. I ain't going to tell you what to do here.
Just check your circle. That's all we're saying.
Yeah. You figure it out. But, man, this has been a good conversation, man.
Yes, I love it.
Yeah, Dr. LaShonda, I got to ask you the new tradition, the question that we ask all our guests at the end of the episode, which is, for the Black man that's watching or listening to this right now and that's struggling, what would you say to them? And this could be struggling about anything. It could be grief. We can make it about grief if you want to, or anything in general. You could take your time and really process what you want to say.
I would say, you deserve to heal. You deserve that. And does that mean that you have to be perfect in this? No. I say all the time, you don't have to be perfect. You just have to be willing. And so willing can look like watching these podcast episodes. It can look like seeking support. It can look like going to therapy, whatever that looks like for you. Do it. Don't feel like you have to follow somebody else's healing journey. It doesn't have to look like what anybody else is doing, but get to know yourself well enough to know what you need. And that is going to come with reaching out for support. Like, I feel like that's been our ding, ding, ding keyword in this episode, support.
Right.
It's okay to get support. You deserve to heal. Now go get the support that you need to do that.
I love it. Dr. LaShonda, where can they find you? How can they support you? Tell them anything that you got coming up, please.
Yes.
Please. Yeah.
Okay, so I am a entrepreneur with a bunch of goals, right? So I got a lot of stuff coming up. But first, I'll tell you where you can find me. You can find me, Dreams and Visions is the name of my group practice. Excuse me. You can find us at dreamsandvisionsatl.com, Dreams and Visions ATL on all platforms. And so you can go there if you need anything. Therapy services, all of that, coaching services provided there. You can also find me at Heal with Dr. LaShonda on all platforms. That is more based in my Heal ministry. And so, healwithdrlashonda.com, you can find me there as well. And what's coming up?
Yeah.
Y'all, I'm working on this book. and I got a proposal for you when we finish.
Okay.
I'm working on this book, and it is for my Black kings to heal, right? I'm trying to, the information I told y'all about, all the research I did in my dissertation, I'm turning that into a book because I need y'all to heal. So I got that coming up. So make sure you go follow me so you can get that information. And we can just, if we can get you as the Black man to heal, you're going to heal your family and you're going to heal the communities. And so I recognize the power that you all have as Black men. Just allow me to pour into you where I can. And so that book, I have a heal retreat coming up. So if we talked about deliverance in here, inner healing deliverance. If that's something that you are interested in learning more about, or you like, I need a break. Heal retreat and a healed conference, right? So follow me. All of those dates will be coming out soon.
And are you taking new clients?
Yes,
Okay.
we're taking clients.
So
and
dreamsandvisionatl.com.
Yep, ATL.com. And it's a group practice, so I do have other therapists as well. You can go look through our website, see if you connect with any of the bios there, and reach out to us. We love to help you.
Dr. LaShonda, man, this has been dope. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Of course.
Thank you so much for watching this episode. If you are planning an event or you are part of your organization's Black employee group and you are interested in having dope Black mental health professionals or myself come in and do a speaking engagement or a workshop or a keynote address or a panel, please click the link in our bio on Instagram or TikTok, scroll down and click book us for speaking and brand deals and fill out the form available on our website. Once you fill out the form, one of our team members will get back to you about how we can collaborate and create something dope for your organization. This is an unparalleled opportunity. We are currently the largest Black men's mental health platform, and we have a few slots available for our calendar year, and we would love to partner with you to create something dope for your organization if it makes sense for both parties, right? So go to the link in our bio, scroll down, click book us for speaking and brand deals, and fill out that form. If you're not on Instagram, the link should be linked in our description of this episode. And it is also on our website. If you go to expressyourselfblackman.com/speaking-brand-deals. That's expressyourselfblackman.com/speaking-brand-deals. If you are looking for a therapist, a Black therapist, and you've had a hard time finding one, you've jumped from therapist to therapist, or you just don't know how to find a therapist, we are teaching a free webinar. It's completely free, taking you from not knowing how to find a therapist, not knowing where to search for therapists, struggling with finding good therapists for you, not knowing what to look for in therapists, teaching you all of those different things, and also giving you the opportunity at the end of the webinar to be connected with one of our safe haven healers who are Black mental health professionals so that you do not have to go through the struggles of finding a Black therapist alone anymore, right? So if you're interested in that, you want to get connected with a Black mental health professional at the end of the webinar, or you just want to learn how to find a Black therapist by yourself, you can sign up for the free webinar. It's linked in our bio on Instagram and TikTok. You just click that free webinar link. Once you click the link in our bio and fill out the form. You can also find it on our website at expressyourselfblackman.com/links and fill out the form there for our next webinar session. If you're not interested in any of that, right, but you know someone that may be interested in it, all we ask is that you please share it. If you want some of the merch that we show on the platform all the time, that we're wearing on the platform all the time, you can shop it at shop.expressyourselfblackman.com. And once again, we just want to say thank you so much for watching this episode. Thank you so much for supporting us. Please, if you are on YouTube, leave a like, subscribe, comment. If you're listening to this on an audio platform, please leave a review. It helps us out greatly. Thank you so much for your support. We're wishing you nothing but the best and sending you and your family and your loved ones love and light. Peace.
Sometimes I know you feel like you ain't got nobody to speak to. A shoulder to lean on, somebody you could preach to. No, you need to hear it, my brother, I love you. We got way too much to live for.